Tulsa Times as a presentation of OETA. Here are your hosts, Kathy Tatum and David Crow.
Hello and welcome. I'm Kathy Tatum.
And I'm David Crow. Thanks for joining us on Tulsa Times. On this edition, we'll take you on a journey through lost Tulsa. The places are steeped in memories, but faded from view, but as we found, not forgotten. Have you ever wondered what happened to a favorite place or landmark around the Tulsa area? Something that just seemed to disappear or fall into disrepair, either as the victim of progress or neglect. Now, a Tulsa man is taking photos of those places and posting them online. Joining me now is Tom Badley, creator of LostTulsa.com. Tom, good to talk to you today.
Thanks. Very good to be here.
Well, talk to us about this. Your website, LostTulsa.com, you've documented all kinds of things from decaying malls, shopping centers, even miniature golf courses. What gave you the idea?
Back in the late 80s when I was still in Tulsa and such, I went and visited a theater that I wanted to get a picture of over on 11th Street, old Will Rogers Theater. I got there with my camera and it was being torn down. And from that point forward, I regretted not having taken more photos of the areas. So I moved back here a couple of years ago after being gone for 15 years and decided that it was time to start trying to pull together some of these things and at least get some of this documented that I remembered from my youth and my high school and college years and such. So it just turned into a website, and I've kind of scattered, and it's all over the place. It's not really focused on any one particular thing, but that's how I got started. So,
one of the places that you've spent a lot of time documenting, it's sort of sad, downhill decline, has been Eastland Mall here in East Tulsa. You don't live too far from the mall. What interested you so much in Eastland Mall?
Well, Eastland Mall, during my high school years, was still just a standing hulk of concrete. It wasn't even completed. It had been started and then gone bankrupt, and so it fascinated me as just a urban decay there on that corner and such. And so when I came back and saw that it had been converted into a full-fledged, nice mall, I was really excited until I found out that it had been dying over the last few years, and with the demise of JCPenney's and now with Mervyn's, I figured I better get in there and get it documented as well. So
it's empty. I mean, by and large, the mall that a lot of us grew up with and would go to, it's seen better days. How sad, to a degree, was it to go in there and see a lot of these stores, they're boarded up, and you have all these pictures on your website?
Yes, I sure do. I've tried to get as many as I could, including the label scars where they've removed the signage off of the tops of the stores and such. But yeah, it's very sad to see that go, and it's sad for the few stores that are still actually trying to keep things going there, and I don't think they'll be able to make it much longer. So.
Now, one of the things right now that you've been doing is going around, and the Texacos here in Tulsa, they've been converted over to shells, obviously. It's a long story. Talk to us about that. Why are all the Texacos disappearing? Well,
the Texacos are disappearing as part of the merger to Chevron. So Shell had actually just worked out a licensing agreement with them to be able to use the Texaco name for several years, and that's going away here in 2006. So all of the Texacos that were actually operating under the Texaco name are going to be going away. So, and again, like I said, I'm kind of all over the place. This isn't a historic building. It's nothing, special. They're just gas stations.
But they're falling down, it seems like, all over Tulsa.
I
mean, especially in South Tulsa. They were here a year ago, and you would think, with gas being what it is, that they would be still standing. But they're falling down, and
they're not even renovating them for shells in most situations. They're actually converting them to something else altogether. So it's strange to see that happening. Yes, absolutely. And then yet, it's also an opportunity for the city to do something new and do something that maybe will be a more lasting type of structure there in those corners, but we'll see what happens.
A couple of nostalgic places from my childhood, at least, that you've documented have been Safari Joe's Golf, which is not too far from our studios here in Tulsa, over near Admiral Memorial, and also the old Photon laser tag place near 48th Memorial, near the Fontana Shopping Center. What gave you the idea to go to both of those?
Photon was one that I'd always had in mind since I was gone. I knew that it had shut down after I left. It was a place that I played regularly with some really close friends, had some good memories there. Always wanted to get back. I wanted to get inside there before they removed all of the playing field equipment, but unfortunately I didn't quite make it to do that. But
when you got inside, were you able to get inside?
No, I was not able to get inside of the Tulsa one. I was able to find quite a few photos other people had taken back during that era, during the mid-'80s and what have you, and I was able to post those online, but I was not able to get any of my own. So.
Talk to us about Safari Joe's miniature golf. It's amazing because if you drive by it, you'll see the giraffes, the zebras, they're still there. It's just no one's playing
That's right.
golf.
That's right. It's very interesting. That was a real popular style of miniature golf course back during the 80s and what have you. It seems that they've moved on to a more corporate style now, that you end up in the incredible pizzas and things like that, indoors and what have you. A lot of the theme type miniature golf are gone now, and this is one that I just kept seeing as I was driving past on the highway. I never had actually played at that particular golf course before, but it just really intrigued me. So I actually took my son over there to see that, and we took all the pictures together. So it was a special time for both of us.
I can imagine so. Now, one of the places that you have focused your lens on recently has been the old Mayo Meadow Shopping Center, which has been coming down in bits and pieces across from the Expo's fairgrounds at 21st and Yale in Tulsa. Why is Mayo Meadow, why is it disappearing?
Well, Mayo Meadow was a unique place in the fact that it was built in the mid-50s, so it had just that stereotypical mid-century architecture to it. It actually went along with a lot of the subdivisions they built in the nearby areas and what have you. They're taking that down for a Walmart, for a Walmart neighborhood market. So they need life on that corner, and those stores were dying, and they were having a real tough time getting tenants in there. So I understand their decision to do this, but it's sad to see just after only 50 years they're deciding to just wipe it clean and start over again. So.
One of the places you've pointed your lens has been at the Abundant Life building downtown that used to be the home of the Oral Roberts Ministries back years and years ago. Also to the Camelot Hotel, you've gotten some exterior shots there. Talk to us about both of those trips for you.
Well, of course, growing up in the 80s in Tulsa, the Camelot. At that point, Peoria was actually the cruise street rather than Memorial, so I spent a lot of time driving up and down past the Camelot and what have you. Of course, it appeared in Tex and some of the other movies there that were made by Coppola during that time frame. I don't know, the building is sad. To see something that large, I used to go to conventions and things like that there. They were always having something going on at the Camelot. It's very sad to see that just sitting and rotting away like it is. But it made great photos. I love to see the vines and the ivy taking over the existing structure and everything, so it's pretty interesting. So.
Now there's a similar website called abandonedtulsa.com that's a different photographer. Tell us about that website. Are you all partnering up? One looks at things on the outside and one sort of goes more on the inside. What's the difference between the two websites?
Kind of a coincidence that we happened to both start up at the same time. I think that Allison's site kind of pushed me to get mine posted quicker, because I had been taking pictures for about 2 years previous to that, including the ones I took of Bartlett Square downtown before they tore it out and things like that. I had taken those Abundant Life building shots long before I ever saw her site. I didn't even know what it was until I read her site. So I guess hers probably focuses more on the historic and that type of thing, where mine may gear a little bit more towards the nostalgic. So she seems to be getting really good access into things like the Camelot and inside the Abundant Life, and she's been doing this under a grant that's partially to help her finish this book, which she actually just had published and I think is actually being released very soon. So.
Good deal. Tom, talk to us about your idea of all that, your philosophy, seeing these buildings and seeing these structures come down. Some people, it makes them sad. Other people say it's progress. What's your take on this?
I tend to lean both directions. I know that some of these buildings, the shacks that Starship Records and Tapes were nothing special, but they had us, like I said, again, it's a nostalgia type thing. People remember those from their childhood, from their youth, probably some of their wilder youth, and so to be able to see those things and just to have them captured on film, they're just reminders of what we had in the past. I hate to see it go by without anyone ever taking any type of, shots of these. So.
Where do you plan on going next? There are a lot of places here in Tulsa that seem to just be falling by the wayside. People may drive by every day and it just doesn't click in your head that, hey, this is falling apart.
That's so true. Well, I spent a lot of the latter years there in the mid-'80s going to midnight movies and such, and we did a lot of in the twin theaters, not the famous ones, not the ones that actually had the famous architecture like the Orpheum or the Will Rogers Theater, but rather the 51st and Sheridan, Bowman Twin, and some things like that, and those have all shut down now. So I'm working on one right now that kind of covers those lost twins. So.
And if anyone wants to get in touch with you, what can they do to
Absolutely. I have my contact. It's tom@losttulsa.com, so anybody would be happy. I would love to take any suggestions of areas that you'd like to have taken pictures of. So.
Good deal. Well, Tom, thank you very much. And the website again, www.losttulsa.com. Tom Badley, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.